Hello. Welcome to my cake kitchen. I'm Gladys, and over here I make simple informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating easily. Would you believe me if I told you these cakes that you see right here are going to be turned into a Grinch? Yeah, Grinch, Christmas Grinch. I wish I had a photo to show you. I don't. Why, you ask? Because my printer broke. Okay, the printer I was going to use to print an image, just so that, not just to show you, but the printer image was going to be the guide for which I was going to use to carve this thing and turn this rather not so great looking cake into something amazing and something artistic like a Grinch. Unfortunately, my printer broke. There's paper jammed in it, and the paper is caught in the roller part of the printer. Apparently I have to take it apart. I really don't know what to do with that, so for now it is assumed the printer is broke until I can figure out a way to get the rollers out. But determined that my situation is not going to impact on my outcome or goals, we are here. So I'll tell you how the printer affects something, our decision making here. The printer affects our decision making in terms of how I do this, because trying to carve this into a Grinch without the image means I'm going to have to carve it from memory with a guide of some sort of digital imaging, which is completely different, because then I can't size it. So it takes this from a sort of beginner friendly art to some sort of advanced level skill. But Grinch cakes are awash on the internet, so I hope this will serve as some guide for you as we go on, and then hopefully in future videos or in future seasonal times I will be able to make the tutorial a little more beginner friendly. That aside, welcome to the channel. If you're watching this on replay, I am Gladys. I love cake, and over here I make simple informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating. These were cakes I baked a little while ago, and so in a way to kind of reuse or discard cakes, I thought I would repurpose them. Okay, so that is a way of repurposing the cake. And besides having a cat that will invite having to wear gloves, I'm wearing gloves just because the cake looks messy and I'm going to have to kind of be very intentional about what I'm doing. So if you see me looking on the way side, it is because I am, bear with me, it is because I am trying to digitally observe. I'm trying to observe the image from my secondary phone, and then we'll get to work on it. Now, the way this cake looks, it doesn't look anything closer to Grinch. Yes, the buttercream on it is made with margarine. That was a test recipe I was running. In the meantime, I am just going to kind of carve the cake out just so that I can use the excess pieces as a filler cake, if you like. So I'm just carving the bit. There is really no rhyme or reason to this. This is a kitchen knife I am using. There's not much to this here. I'm just going to get the image back here. If you're talking to me in the chat, unfortunately I can't talk to you just yet, right? So I'm probably just, it will make sense to kind of carve this and then turn it over that way and then build Grinch's okay. Yeah. If you look at the Grinch image, it goes from, it's like a sort of a cone-shaped head, if you like. So I am building it from this way up. Okay, let's see. And the cut-offs are actually going to be used to fill the other parts. Right. Okay. There you go. Right. And then we are going to fill. Right. And with that, we are carving. It doesn't look anything like Grinch. I would be first to admit to that, but we'll get there. Just have some faith, because we've made the impossible happen over here. Okay, we have. I have made some near impossible cakes, and I don't want to waste any more cake, and I don't want to make Grinch's face any bigger than it should. So I am going to carve it to the cake I have, so I don't have to add any more cake. What I'm using to fill in is what you call the cake pop mix. I almost always do something that's like, what are you doing? Well, we are making Grinch. And you're gonna have to, this is fully a trust the process sort of cake. But we've done a few trust the process kind of cakes before, so this will not be anything unusual. Okay, I think if I turned it this way, at this point, every little piece of cake matters. It's like this would have been so much better if I had the print and then I carved the cake around the cutout. But I'm having to do this freehand. And plus, I don't have enough cake. I'm just trying to do almost the impossible here. Right, whatever I'm doing here, when I finish, I'm going to have to let it set before we carve the rest of the shape. Okay, yep. Does it look like Grinch already? If you squint, you will see Grinch, but hey, I'm not trying to convince you. It has like funny looking eyes and yep, there you go. I cannot see you, by the way, because I'm using my screen to watch the Grinch sort of eye photo, so I cannot see any chats at the moment. But let me just get done with this, get the form together, and then I will free my hand and I'll talk to you, right? Does that look like Grinch already, the face? If you're watching, just Google an image of Grinch and see if you can almost see Grinch already. Now, let's get this kind of feel like... Yeah, the thing with... hello my people, you're back. There are a few people I can see. Okay, SME, oh, she's putting in the work for her. Oh, thank you. Aaron is back. Aaron, darling, how are you today? Lovely to have you back. And who is here with us? SME, I know, right? There are so many ways you can utilize cake, but you know what? I make a lot of cakes. I do. Like, on the average day, out of 7 days, I'm making cakes up to 5 days a week. They are not always custom. In fact, customer cakes are like packed behind here. I make cakes for content. I am developing recipes. I am testing stuff out for research purposes. Like, I bake a lot. So a lot of my cakes, sometimes up to more than like half of them, is not cakes that you are going to eat, not because they are not like edible or not safe to eat. It's not that at all, because I'm developing research. For instance, if I was like, and when I say research, it's just trying to figure out things about cakes that I can then inform you about how ingredients affects outcomes and different things, because I am that passionate about cakes. So here's the thing. As a cake maker, say I could bake 3 batches of cakes, all of which have different varying amounts of sugar. And the research is to kind of leave the cakes and see how they kind of like, in terms of perishing and shelf life, how they decline. So that, say, if I was informing about the amount of sugar and the role that sugar plays in baking, I'll be able to talk from an evidence point of view. The information is already available online. Like, these days, there's almost like just so much information for you to access, but it's a different kind of experience if you are talking from a place of first-hand knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So I do that. So because of that, I have excess cake. My freezer, as I'm preparing to move homes, like most people move homes and they're worried about where they're going to be. I ain't worried about where I'm going to be. I'm worried about where all my cakes, the stale ones in the freezer, are going to be. That's where I am. Okay. It bugs me. Okay, but that is just by the way. But yeah, I do have some cake scraps that do eventually go out sometimes. So all of you in the chat who are joining me, hello, thank you. And yeah, I hope you're keeping well today. How is your Wednesday? My Wednesday has been a quiet one. I am doing something a little exciting. I don't want to kind of get ahead of it. It's just something a little more personal, but still exciting nonetheless. Okay, let me talk about it. Right. My journey as a cake maker started as a home baker. Largely what I've done in my career as a baker, cake artist, and now cake educator and creator has come from just self-taught. Like, I started because I was just curious about baking, and then the curiosity grew into a passion, and then the passion grew into the business of Gladys Gourmet Cakes. But then COVID happened, and then I learned a very good lesson. And the lesson was that having to make custom cake is very niche, okay? It's an expert skill. It is very niche, and it targets a specific audience. That's not a bad thing in itself. But as COVID happened and the world collapsed, it was like, well, the business is flawed from the start, because who is buying niche cakes for that amount of money when nobody is holding a party or has no means to spend this amount on this unnecessary luxury? I'll be first to tell you, my kind of cake is unnecessary luxury. It's a necessity. It's not an everyday necessity, okay? Just because you cannot afford me is not cause for drama in our world, right? You can just go buy a cake from anywhere. And I'll be first to recommend you a box standard cake that still tastes good, and I'm not even mad. 2 things can be true at the same time. So when COVID happened and the world came to an end, and I had my own, like, the business literally disappeared, and yet I still had the skill. So my journey onto YouTube was informed by practical circumstance in life. Like, the business disappeared. I still had the skill. I was still as equally passionate. And I thought, let me get on YouTube. I mean, when I got on YouTube, I knew nothing. I'm telling you, I knew absolutely nothing about cake. I said cake, about YouTube, from the editing. That's a whole story I will tell you someday when I get to it. But I've told that story in parts here, the part of getting to YouTube. Because what do you do? Anyway, I'll continue there. Let's clear this up and leave this to set whilst I tell you the story. And I told you that it already looks like Grinch. Can you see Grinch? Can you squint? If you can see Grinch, let's show by hand. Dawn, welcome back. How are you, my lovely? I hope you are feeling better today and life's treating you well. If you can see Grinch, squint and see if you can see Grinch in this detail. I am literally trying to make you see Grinch. Right? So people, go. There are 60 of you in the chat. Like 60 people watching a random cake maker make Grinch out of cake scraps. Like, who are you people? Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. If you can see Grinch, show by hands. Okay? Show by hand if you can see. If you can't see Grinch, don't worry, because the ultimate goal is we will have Grinch when this is done. That's for sure. It will depend on what kind of Grinch. 1 second. Oh, you know what? It's always great to know the next day is better than one before. That's all the aim there is. Okay? So I'm pleased to hear Dawn. Great to have you back. Always a pleasure. And I hope today continues to feel so good and that continues for the season we're in. Because a little bit of joy is much needed. Okay? Okay. What I am doing is cleaning the cake scraps. I don't know what my knack is for always like wanting to recycle my cakes and it looks like nothing so clean. And then by the time we are done, you're like, what is that? Hopefully, it's not like our doggy cake because the doggy cake wasn't strong. Can we just be honest? Okay, there you go. All right. If you don't know what we're doing, we're trying to make a Grinch cake. Okay, and there we are. That's, if you can see Grinch, tell me. I think I can. And that's, I'm not even making it up. I can see Grinch, but I know we are not there yet. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is our sketchy Grinch. We are not done yet because Grinch is being carved from cake. What do you call it? Scrap cake. And we're carving it from messy cake. What I've done is I have mashed some of the cake to fill in the holes and bits. We need to let this set completely so that I can come and then carve out the form so we get the Grinch face. Because what we're trying to do is like a 2D version of the face of Grinch. It's not completely Grinch itself. So the hope is that we'll make the face of Grinch, we'll leave room for the neck and hopefully have like a scarf detail that may represent Christmas. And then this part makes Grinch's hair, if you like. So that's the idea. If you're just joining us, I was saying, initially I wanted to post an image of what we are looking at so that you can have something to register. Unfortunately, my edible printer has paper jammed in it this morning, and it's safe to say at this point I'm convinced it is broken. I can't seem to fix it, and if it's broken, that's 205 pounds down the drain one Wednesday random morning. My mixers are insured. My edible printer is not insured, so but I was determined to still yeah, edible printer. Okay, so it's a regular printer that is optimized for just printing images that are food safe. That's what I mean by edible printer. So yeah, it's not like the printer is edible, but it's not used for regular printing. It is used for the ink and everything that is in the printer is optimized for food safe edible imaging. Does that make sense, Aaron? So yeah. So I went to go and print the image so that I could cut it out, and then as you would if you wanted like a printout, a cutout of an object or element, and then the paper got jammed in it. And the paper is kind of, normally when the paper jams, it's either stuck at the back or it's come all the way to the front. I mean, you can't really determine how a paper jams in a printer, except in my case, the paper has jammed and it's set in the rollers, as in inside the printer. So the rollers can't pack it out and I have to take the printer apart. I don't know how to do that. And actually on just a small quick research, taking it apart without any expert help has a tendency to damage the sensors and the printing compartment. So I say all that to say, at this point, I'm safely getting used to the idea the printer literally broke. So yeah. One morning you wake up and things that it's a bit like when you wake up in the morning and you're headed on the road and you've done everything right and someone jams into you and suddenly you have an accident and unanticipated cost to cover. It's the cost of life, isn't it? So anyway, that's just by the way. I am not mad about it, but yeah. Thank you, Nick's World. Thank you. So that is our Grinch at the moment. We need to set Grinch in the fridge. I think just so that I can get the best and quick outcomes, I'm going to set it in the big fridge. And I'll come back and tell you the exciting thing I'm doing that started the story of me on YouTube. I'll be a minute. Right, so the cake has gone in the fridge. So if you're just joining us on replay, we're trying to make a Grinch Christmas themed cake. I mean, Grinch is essentially Christmas, isn't it? If you love Christmas, you know Grinch. I watched the Grinch film for the first time, and I see why it's such a classic and so popular with Christmas. What is his name? The actor who portrays Grinch does a brilliant job, and it's kind of like the sentiment of Grinch for the theme of Christmas, the season of Christmas, and the theme is very universal. I remember watching it with my son, and yeah, it was great. So yep. So what exciting thing am I doing? Nothing. This is me taking away the suspense. But okay, so when I landed on YouTube, I used YouTube to teach me YouTube. And some of the challenges I had along the way just took determination to ride over, right? Because for instance, imagine starting a journey and not having the skill. Because I didn't know anything about camera work. I mean, I knew about photography because long before I got to YouTube, I had employed my own skill to provide the images. If you go to my website, all the images that are taken there and looks like they are sort of professionally shot were taken by myself because I had grown a keen interest in photography and just wanted to cut costs. The essence of it wasn't necessarily to kind of do things DIY. Look, I will pay for a service if I can afford it. But if I cannot afford it, but I enjoy the creative process, I will do that also. So the initial thing was I had sort of built a fine amount of skill in terms of how to market the cakes and take the photos and everything, which had set my website for me. Right. And I remember during COVID when I still wanted the website setting up, it was a long process. Say all that to say I did that, and then the business literally came to its knees during COVID. And so when COVID happened, I had no other recourse but to go back to work and just figure out what would happen. And so here's the lesson about business. The real experience of business is in the action of doing it. Okay, whatever your thoughts and goals and business plans, your business at its inception, unless you are replicating an exact business module from somebody else, okay, and then impersonating their form and presence and their mind, even if you go to business school, you will be equipped with the skills of how to run a business. But your everyday experience is always going to be determined, and it will always start from the ground up, right? So the difference between somebody who has been to business school and somebody who hasn't been to business school is that a person who has been to business school is almost pre-informed and is equipped with the skill, but they have to kind of tangibly translate that skill and knowledge into doing the thing. Okay, and so maybe they have a leg in, but the everyday process is going to change because business can be unpredictable in your journey as it appears. So I say that to say, even though I was a cake maker, the idea of translating something, a concept of a creative thing, into a very tangible, successful business was always a challenge for me. It was always going to be. And through COVID happening, I realized very quickly that when you build a business, you have to also anticipate, okay? Anticipate the problems that may arise. And that will also come as a result of having the knowledge prior, or training, or going to business school prior. So nobody could have anticipated COVID happening. Okay, if I built a business on cakes, I would have anticipated customer queries and customer issues, and say preserving the shelf life of cakes, optimizing the experience for better customer service, and all of that. And then find, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Contingencies. Yeah. And then finding contingencies for some of the problems or issues that may arise. And the contingencies means that I'm always like looking ahead or finding second like solutions to the determined problem that are inherent to the business. But nobody could have determined how COVID was ever going to impact our world. In fact, nobody knew that business would ever come to its knees because of COVID, because we never had any concept of COVID. The context of COVID was just new. So when I went back to work and decided that, okay, this business is flawed, because forget that we have gotten our world back now, COVID is gone. What if another thing happened where people couldn't purchase cakes? It means I won't have a business. And so what did I do? I then decided that, okay, let me get on YouTube. But then again, like I said, I didn't have the skill. I didn't know what I was doing. Look, if you go back to YouTube, my channel, the very first video I posted still remains here. I think at this point we're nearly 1,000 videos in, and we are still growing. Okay, every day has been a lesson. I went from posting long form videos that I didn't know what I was doing. I even hired an editor from my home country of Ghana. But the problem is that as they were like an editor, as in they were good at their job. But one of the lessons I learned by hiring an editor offshore was because, first of all, the editor puts a visual story together using their skill as an editor. What an editor cannot do is communicate cake for me. They can tell a visual story of a cake decorating process based on the information I hand them. They can never communicate cakes to you like I would, because the understanding of the subject matter is very expert and connected to me. So whilst I had the editor doing what an editor could do, there was a lot of back and forth, okay? Because then there was never a time I doubted my editor's ability at all, but every time I received a video from him, it was like it was missing a detail that I wanted in there. And so we had to go back and forth. Come to think about it, I was so naive, people. I was so naive about the process. So eventually, that became an inherent problem hiring an editor offshore, right? Because the problem was they couldn't communicate my idea and my exact vision. They could generically produce a story based on the visuals I've sent to them, but they couldn't tell the story for me. And then I realized very quickly then that it mattered to me how I thought cakes and how I communicated cakes. It mattered. That wasn't something I was thinking about when I came onto YouTube. When I came onto YouTube, I thought cakes were going to be fun. And then when I started, back to what I was saying, that when you're running a business or when you're doing things, the true lessons come with doing the thing and learning your lessons by failing or recognizing new experiences in the process. So I realized very quickly that it mattered to me how I communicated cakes. Why was that important? Because I had learned much of some of the cake decorating techniques from YouTube. There were amazing tutor creators who were creating content based on the subject of cake. But I always felt as a learner something was missing. So my intention to come on YouTube was also because I wanted to bridge the gap between what was existing and what was missing. And what was missing was that back in 2020, 2021, YouTube was still YouTubing, and the fast-paced, attention-grabbing, editing and storytelling pacing was the thing. Like, in 2025, we can say all our attention is gone now. We can hardly sit through anything that is fulfilling for us. We're like scrolling and scrolling, okay? So back in 2020, when COVID had happened, a lot of creators were online, but it means that the watcher or you, the viewer, was so spoiled for choice. You were moving on to the next thing so fast that creators just wanted to feed you as much content. And so because of that, I realized that a lot of the editing will take away the most important detail. So here's one little nugget you will know from the channel. The reason why we are long-winded, or I am long-winded in my teaching by providing you the whys and the intention behind my decision-making, is actually not random at all. If you look at the channel, the tagline is bringing you simple, informative tutorials. And boy, it's informative, not subjective, because informative doesn't necessarily mean it's succinct or it's short. Informative is just as informative as I can provide you the details, right? So when I'm baking, I am conscious about telling you what flour I'm using, why I'm using that flour, and I'm providing you alternative options for what you can do to derive the outcomes that I am aiming for. If I'm using a particular recipe, if you've been here, you would have heard the word. The day we have merch, the first word will be adaptable. Okay, make sure you're using adaptable recipes. Why is adaptable recipes important to me? Because I find that there are so many recipes online and they are all developed by people who are good at what they do. But the difference is they have been optimized for a particular outcome. So when you are a beginner baker, you can either just pick that recipe, replicate it, and be gone. But what if a situation arises where you need an alternative recipe? Do you have to then go and seek a different recipe? That is not what you're used to, which is where adaptable comes in. So having consumed much of this information online, I realized that it's not so much a lack of information or recipes that was causing the problem. It was so much a lack of adaptable recipe, a recipe you can change something very quickly without affecting the outcome adversely, you know? So by doing that on YouTube and learning the ropes and building my own skill, I am happy to say how many years in, nearly 4 years in, I talk to you, which is a skill in itself, holding your attention and feeding you the information about cake making whilst also polishing my own skill and then translating that into a visual storytelling form are all things I do generally by myself, which is kind of like wild when I come to think about it. By so doing, I look back and I realize I had to make some sacrifices. My initial goal of starting a successful custom cake business set in making expertly crafted cakes has changed. Besides the hexagon cake we made here and a few other custom cakes, when was the last time I made like a towering cake for a customer? I can't. When I think about it, it's few and far in between. And that's by intention. The intention is that with time, I had to transition from what I was doing, because it's either you're running the business and then here is just the extension, and then you have help. The only help I used to have then was the help with my personal life, as in my son was taken care of. Our dad was like the person who was here, and my home life and everything else. Because this is a lot. Like, there is no way anybody, this business of, wearing too many hats and being expert at all of it, it's a lie, okay? Being a mom, I wasn't always like 100% here. Because what do you think we're doing when the cake is overwhelming and I'm filming all the time? Like, if you go back to my life, the amount of time, on average, we're here an hour and a half a day. But that doesn't include prep time. And then we have shorts. So the thing is, I have a lot of help, or at least I did then, to kind of get myself and build my skills to this point. That has changed, okay? That has changed. That part of life, I'm a full-time mom now. And so because of that, it's like I have to kind of think about where business and my goals in terms of what I want to achieve will be. And so one of the things I had thought deeply about was to transition what we do here, because the truth is YouTube has changed. There's no way I'm ever going to build an income, especially if I play by my rules. I'm never going to build an income in the traditional way by just counting on your views. I am never, it will not happen. And if it will take a long time, because you know what? We do what we do here. I have never taken a sponsorship. I have been open about what has been important to me. And what is important to me is being able to bring you real, raw cake decorating moments whilst empowering you with specialized skills for you to be able to make cakes, right? So because of that, I am not chasing trendy views. There is a whole thing about YouTube SEO. YouTube is a whole business, okay, that people specialize in teaching. And I have been open about my reluctance in pursuing that course fervently, okay? Because what actually keeps me going is the genuine interaction I have with you over here, and the hope that what I offer is still important and serves you and it's fulfilling for you. And that doesn't translate into income very quickly, and that's okay. So my hope was to kind of build a sort of online presence around this. And you've seen me in real time actually sort of change my mind. It's been a subtle process. For instance, when I started the membership, I started the membership in the hope of actually setting up some of the YouTube videos on the membership, just so that you can make a decision about what else you want to see by compensating or paying for that service. It was $2.99, but YouTube was going to always take a cut. I think the YouTube cut of membership is about 30%. But it wasn't something I was marketing so loudly because I was still trying to figure out my feet. And then YouTube decided that they were going to kind of shadow ban the channel because the AI or whatever kind of happened. And I was like, what does that mean to you? If YouTube is just going to shadow ban a channel because they thought there was a bug in there, which wasn't anyway, it all got fixed up in the end. How does then that affect you, especially when you're paying for a service? So then I did away with the membership. So I was back to square one. So my goal is to kind of build like a secondary or an extended source behind this. For instance, if I had a website connected to Gladys's Cake Kitchen, you can then go and access like specific online tutorials, and then we will have our whole sort of source there for extra things. So I have plans for that, like resources where you can get guides for, say, if I have a recipe and you wanted that recipe translated in the different forms, you'll be able to derive that. Like, these are all ideas. I say all of that today to say the exciting thing is that I have started the baby steps to actually doing that. In the past, I've toyed with the idea. I've spoken to you about it. I've gone to sleep. That's because my life was happening. There was a lot happening in my life. And sometimes you can only carry what you can, and then the rest goes to the wayside. And at this moment in time, I am just excited to be back to living life as a mom, like somebody who is incredibly creative and passionate about what I do, and to be able to kind of tangibly represent the ideas in my head in very visible forms that will support you. That's where we are at. So yep, the short part of this story is, yep, I am putting the concepts together. Much of the, say if I wanted to build a website, I don't want to outsource the content, as in the content of what the website represents. That is all me. And I have to create that from the start with the images and everything. And then I'll have to employ a person who knows what they're doing to then put the idea together. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's still at the baby step phases. But the good thing is that I've done this before. Why, you ask? If you go to my cake business website, which is Gladys's Gourmet Cakes, whatever you see on that website, that was a representation of my idea. I wanted it to be represented that way, and it was represented that way. Over time, we had to kind of re-edit and restructure things and redesign it slightly. But the whole concept and how it's represented is an idea I sat there and created. So I've been down this road before, and so this time I walk into the experience with knowing what to not do, which in itself is a blessing. So yeah, great. And yeah. Tabitha, go ahead. Dawn, I saw you the actor's name, Jim Carrey. I just saw it here. Tabitha says, I have a question. When you have Tabitha, go ahead. I'm all ears. And Dawn is saying, I follow someone I think is in, okay, that's Dawn. Okay, let's see, what am I missing? Well, thank you all. I can see there's those of you who have come, and there is I hope you have you have the beauty class and sophistication you pour into the world in your life and environment as well. Oh, well, I hope, because you know my life has been a mixture of so many unseemly events, but for some reason, maybe because I'm a person of faith, I accept them as I'm still like so blessed and lucky, because if I start. So yeah, I live in my own head a lot, and I'm my own worst enemy. I will be the first. I live in my head. I'm typically, if I was sitting here talking to you, you would probably, which is not, I get that all the time. Like, perception is everything, but that's not intentional. Like, I am who I am, and I think the compliments I get are generally universal about who I am as a person. But like most everybody, I'm not a perfect person. I have flaws. And one of my flaws when it comes to business is I'm an incredible overthinker. I can think about something and over detail it to the point of fear, which is something that has come with growing up. Because as a young person, I wasn't that at all. As a young person, I just dreamt about my life, and I went along and I took the risk. And I have never been scared to ask a question. I think much of my life has evolved, and I have broken through walls and achieved things out of my own wildest dreams, simply because I was never scared to ask a question. Like, ask the wrong person and you will learn quickly you've ended up at the wrong destination. And that in itself is a lesson, because then you know who not to ask a question, right? But as I've grown, and with life, you become aware of dangers of life. Your innocence is broken, and then things become more important to you than you care to risk. So then I become a person in my own head. But ultimately, when I overthink, the thing that causes me to make a quick decision then is this how will settling be okay in this moment? And if the intention to settle hurts more than the fear of the unknown. I choose the unknown, and I'm like, let's be done with it. So thank you for that. Tapita was asking something. Tapita, yeah, my question is, when is recipe developing, do you share your idea with someone? How? Okay, I'll take the question again, right? My question is, when you're recipe developing, do you share your idea with someone and then they tell you how they would do it, or how your idea wouldn't work even though they've never tried it? Okay, I'll tell you this. Not necessarily. In fact, you people are my go-to. Sometimes I'm testing recipes, but perhaps you guys don't know. And this is how it works. For instance, when I started the series on sugar, and we did the sugar alternative, that was technically recipe developing and research. And you saw in real time, because I filmed the video on the sugar alternative, the stevia thing that I made into a video. That was like recipe testing and research for how sugar affects outcomes, right? The thing though is that at the moment I don't have a mentor who does exactly what I'm doing or what I'm aiming to achieve, right? I don't. So I don't have like a second opinion to convince me or inspire me. But the good thing is that I have a base, a foundational base. And the foundational base is that I am a cake maker, I am a baker, and I am very interested in deriving a cake that tastes great. That's all. Like I won't say unhealthily, but I am reasonably aware of what I am aiming for, right? And that in itself is a feedback loop that I exist in, which is that if I made a recipe, you have seen my vanilla cake develop over here. And even though the development hasn't been overt, like I don't come here when I'm making a vanilla cake recipe and tell you, oh, today I'm recipe testing. But if you go back to the videos, the information and details are there. That one day you would have seen me make vanilla cake with buttermilk, and I bang on about buttermilk. And then another day I come back with the same recipe, except the buttermilk is gone and we have kefir. And I tell you why I'm using kefir. What you don't know though is that before I show up here telling you about kefir, I have done the research on kefir. I have like derived notes on why kefir is a better alternative, or why it's in terms of composition the best alternative to without buttermilk compared to other options. Those are things I would have done behind the scenes. So coming here to kind of make a cake when I tell you casually, like, oh, you know, normally I recommend the use of buttermilk, but today we're using kefir because kefir is a protein and that works better. It tenderizes. I'm giving you a summary of something I know of. And then the truth is, without you knowing, we derived a cake and the results are still amazing. So do I wish I had, because what I'm doing is I am not trying to break a barrier here. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to Einstein a cake. Does that make sense? Like, Einstein had to go and figure out some scientific things that never existed. And so he probably needed a few people who knew better or who could oppose his ideas. I'm not Einstein in anything. I'm just trying to refine a specific detail that already exists. And so I have information about the base structure of what I'm aiming for. And the refinement process is a feedback loop. And you can either make or fail. But all I'm doing is building up on the thing. Does that make sense? So the simple answer is no. I don't discuss it with anybody. Not because I don't. Actually, you end up being my sort of sounding board. Because you know what they say? Teach the thing you are learning and you learn faster and you retain it better. I will tell you, whilst teaching you about cakes is about like teaching you, it is also a form for me to retain the experience and memory of what I learn every day about the subject of cakes. So to answer your question in another way, not necessarily telling anybody or anything, but the good thing is that you are my sounding board. So do I talk to anybody? Yeah, you. You. Except you people are just so good that the results are great and you sing my praise and I just go and I exist in my little dark hole. That's all, Tabitha. I hope that's an answer. But stretching that outside of the context of, oh, do not discuss your plans with people. Can we have a conversation about that? Can we have a conversation about, listen, if you've existed in this life long enough, I hope you agree with me when I say it depends. The whole generalized belief that, oh, don't share your ideas with people, and it's not true. Because how else? Sometimes sharing it with somebody will teach you who to not share your ideas with. And sometimes the cost is high. And you learn it too late. Okay? And sometimes sharing it with somebody, if even they oppose you, they are not the enemy. You then have to exercise wisdom and discernment to know that even though this person is opposing or disagreeing with me, okay, do they have my best interests? And that in itself is information for you to make better decisions on. Okay? So can you go sharing your ideas with the world? Where possible and where necessary, yeah, of course. But yeah, don't be the fool who goes about blabbing your business to any and everybody. But then again, I live by the principle that in itself is also information, because then you realize what a fool you are and then you wise up quickly. That's all. Oh. Let's see, what am I missing here? I think like there is some chatter in there. Before Tabitha and Dawn, there was SME. Is SME still in our chat? Yeah. Well, I can see, let's go and get the cake and see if we can start refining our Grinch. I'm going to go bring the cake back. But yeah, right, Grinch is back. Let's put some gloves on. Right. If you didn't know what we were doing, we were carving Grinch from scrap cake. I'm trying to kind of get Grinch here. Right, that's Grinch. Can you see Grinch's eyes? I keep asking you. I know you can't see it. So yeah, I'm going to stop forcing you to see Grinch. Because if you don't see Grinch, there's nothing I can do. I think what I'm going to have to do is make you see Grinch by just getting a bowl. Right, so you know what? In order to give you an idea of the Grinch we are making, I'm just going to stand here. So you're probably not going to see me in shot, but I also want you to witness what I'm carving, right? So let's try and carve this, because I kind of feel like Grinch's cheek is just too wide on this side. Now this is the part you're gonna have to carve like really carefully, because first of all, we don't have enough cake to make mistakes and correct, right? Now, some tips for the carving is use a sharp knife. Whatever you're using, make sure your blade is sharp. And also make sure that you dip the blade in warm water. It gives you a better cut to your cake. Okay, let me see if I can. Yep. Okay. Okay. I am not going to refine the face because Grinch has a lot of creases and wrinkles. Like Grinch is not like a polished. Grinch's face has a lot of emotion and texture. So I want to get a base of that on the cake instead of like having to mold it in fondant. Can you see Grinch in it? If you can see Grinch, show by hand. Okay. Okay. I'm asking the boring question again. Can you see Grinch? Okay, let's see. Okay. Glad, be careful. Because otherwise you'll break the bits of the cake. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think I don't want to overdo this. I've got the size of Grinch's head. Yep, I don't want to overdo this at all because anything else is just going to set me up for ruining Grinch. And we do not want to ruin Grinch. There you go. Right. We just adjust this properly. Yep. Okay. Okay, there you go. I'm just... Can we see Grinch? Right. I need to put some... Dawn, it's scrub cake. Scrub cake. You know what? I get that all the time. The intention to actually go, what do you do with the cake? It's scrub. We can't even eat it. But I also feel like I ruin it by telling you we can't eat it because it's like, what's the expectation? Are we going to make Grinch and eat Grinch? No, it's scrub cake. But yeah, okay, so this, we are done here. Actually, I am hoping. Did you hear me bemoaning about my extra cake bits now that I'm moving homes? Like, possibly. Like, it's a lot. of cake, right? It's a lot of cake to go around, and I am hoping that we can make a Christmas turkey. Like I said, let me not go making promises I can't keep. Okay. I hope though this time I can make the cake so that I will give it to church, as in the hyper realistic turkey. I can give it to church, but that's an idea in my head. If I overthink it, we will not do it. So let me not overthink it, but you're here with me. You'll see if we do it or we don't. Right now we have Grinch. We have to crumb coat Grinch. Am I getting my dream kitchen? Oh, honey, I'm downsizing. So, I'm downsizing. So, I don't think. Hopefully, the kitchen should be proportional. Because where our home at the moment, it's a bigger house, but a rather disproportionate sized kitchen to the building. But I guess if it was just a regular family who didn't make cakes, it would still be a functional kitchen. The only reason I keep going my kitchen is small is because it has commercial items in it, like a commercial sized oven, and you know, so it's like, but I almost like realistically, I anticipate that because we're downsizing, realistically a 2-bed, not a flat. Cakes can't exist in a flat. That would be a headache. So yeah, we are downsizing. So realistically, it's going to still be a smaller kitchen. But at least if I ended up in a kitchen the same size as this in a smaller house, I won't be as mad. I will be hoping though, this time with the insight I have and a little bit of choice and control, what I might probably be looking out for is outside space so I can build a cake shed. That's in my future, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, Tapeta, that camping trip, that had you feeling like you do not want to be near them people. Tapeta said, I don't want, you know what, I love you people, but I don't want to go camping with you. You know, sometimes you think you're friends with people until something important happens. Like you think you like your bestie until you have to give a name to your daughter. And then you think, I don't want my bestie's name. Like I that is because you've given it thought and you're like, I don't want. So sometimes you think you like somebody until you go camping with them. You're like, you know what? I'ma love you from a distance. It's life, Tapeta. It's life. It happens. We are crumb coating. Is Lollipop here with us today? As always, I will say to you that as with carved cakes, you want to make sure that your additional things such as buttercream or ganache, in this case I am using ganache, only helps the form but not add any other issues that may develop. You know what I'm saying? Like if you add too much buttercream, when the object comes to room temperature, it might deform. And that's a consideration you have to make for whatever you are carving and the amount of buttercream or ganache you are prepared to add. So we look at Grinch. Can you see Grinch, people? I need some feedback here. Come on, be kind. Can we see Grinch? I can see WTH in the chat by Dawn. Like, Dawn, something must surprise you in there. There you go. Right, let's get ourselves a flexi smoother. Okay, there you go. Okay. I am hoping that by the time I finish this cake, I won't be tempted to store it. And then we might just cut it. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to get my gloves in here. Okay, the crumb coat is done. It's nothing perfect, it's just to seal in the crumbs. Oh God, I am breaking the okay, let's go and cover this back. Yep. Okay, that's it. Can you see Grinch? I am literally convincing you we have Grinch. Okay, no, let's look at it again. Can we see Grinch? Maybe you can't. I can. Okay, let's see. Let's take it back and look. Look, Grinch's eyes are here. His mouth is here. We'll get his nose done. And that's his head. I know you can't see yet. Okay, there you go. Grinch. All done now? No. Grinch is not done. Grinch is not done. He's not. We need to go and put him to chill completely. And then we'll have to get some green fondant. We'll have to get some green fondant, and yeah. So far, our Grinch detail is sort of partly done. Now let's clean up. Tabitha, what am I missing? What are we missing? Okay, so in our time of being here, we've managed to get this Grinch. Let's wipe the board. Okay. Okay. Right, there you are. Not done yet, not done, but it's going in the fridge. It's going in the fridge, and then it will set. And then we'll come back. It looks like a blob. When I look at it on camera, I can see why you can't see Grinch. But don't worry, the white has kind of washed it out. But I can, because I can see Grinch's eyes here. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, let's go put him in the fridge. Okay, that's just by the way. Okay. Carpenter says scroll up a little bit and you will catch up on what. Yeah, let me just scroll up a little bit because I feel like I'm missing out. Okay, there's a new friend in the chat. Friend, William, is it William Guerrero? William, thank you for being here, but I don't think I can understand what you have put in there. So if you can just change that in a way where we can understand each other, that will be very helpful. Okay. Let me scroll and see what I missed. The camping trip, because Tabitha, I remember we spoke about the camping, but I don't think we knew the exact details of what went down. You were so gracious, and you told us that you really don't fancy going on another holiday with them people. And in fact, if you were to do it, you would be on the next campsite and there or here. And then you'd be like, hello, you were so gracious. So now that you feel comfortable to tell us the detail, let me go and see what you were saying over there, right? Kabira. Oh, I missed. There's Iram Kabira was here. Okay, let's see. Oh, let me see what I miss. Okay, I answered Tabitha's question on recipe developing. That was the last thing. Okay. Okay. Okay, Tabitha says, so Tabitha, were you asking me another question following the recipe subject? Because I saw here after that you said, I don't know about you, but it makes me feel like I don't even want to try. Was that for me, Tabitha? Put a yes in the comment and then I'll see. Any ideas and tips on how to get over it and let it okay, any ideas or tips on how to get over it and not let it take away from the fun of developing a recipe? Okay, Tabitha, I'll tell you this. Just because you like something doesn't mean you're always going to love the process. Like, actually, and it all depends on what there's a word. It is a very neurodiverse centered word, which is your demand avoidance term. Like I said, coming here is not something I wake up, I don't hate you, I love you people, I love the support, I am grateful. But when I wake up in the morning, it doesn't feel like I'm excited to come here and stand here and be like, some days I want to roll over on my sofa. Does that mean I don't like what I'm doing? No, it's just because your brain is not wired to kind of get you into the thing you want to do that will grow you. Your brain is optimized to keep you safe, and it loves comfort, it loves consistency. So unless you are diagnosed ADHD, where you have to actually rely on some sort of medicinal support and other forms to get your brain to kickstart some functions, as a grown-up, doing new things is never exciting, even if you're passionate. It's new, okay? It's scary, it's uncertain, it's boring. You are not going to feel like it. So Tabitha, here's the real deal. The tip here is to look at where you are and where you want to go and just be done with it. As in, just get up and get on with it. Because developing recipe, the idea is all exciting, but then you have to wake up and do the boring thing of checking for the ingredients. And then you look at your pantry and there are no ingredients. And you're like, I've got to go to Walmart. But you look out your window and it's cold AF. And you don't want to go anywhere. And there goes your recipe development idea. Okay? So as long as you do not have anybody in your ear putting you down, it is going to have to take effort. And the effort is feels like a hill climb sometimes. But like anything that is worth having, you're just going to have to work with it. The good thing is that at least I can validate the feeling that it's not unusual for you to not feel like it. Do you know the number of times I don't feel like something? You have no idea. So, Tabitha, my encouragement is to just maybe find something that you can associate to the excitement, your outcome, the excitement of your outcome. Keep things simple. What do you want to develop? If you keep it wide, you will always find yourself searching. So start from a place of familiarity. If you have, say, let's call it a gingerbread recipe, and you don't like it very much, but you have the recipe nonetheless, look at what you don't like about the recipe. Is it too gooey, or it's too chewy, or it's too crispy? And then think about the ways you want to develop that particular recipe to your own, reformulate that recipe to your own liking. The advantage though is that, Tabitha, you don't have to do this alone. Just like I have you guys here, you can come here and be like, Glad, I'm trying to develop a cookie recipe. The good thing, okay, so giving you practical tips, don't start from the unknown, because if you want to develop a whole recipe you don't know about, where are you starting from? So again, start from familiar. So pick a recipe you know, but something you want to change about it. Okay? And then stick with that, because then it's easy. The familiar point is that you know the processes. It's easy. Because when you go for the unknown, you have a lot of tension spots to conquer. And if you don't feel inherently motivated or passionate enough to want to do it, that's where your dreams go to die. Okay? So wake up, pick something you are used to, that you know about, okay? Make peace with the fact that it's a new thing and you're going to feel anxious. Like making Grinch. I'm a cake artist. I've made harder cakes. But Grinch is a new experience for me. Was I feeling anxious? Yeah. And then to make matters worse, my printer broke. And I'm like, shoot. But then I'm like, what do I want to achieve today? Today, I don't want to let my people down, even though I'm pissed. And here we are. I hope that tip counts. Okay. William says hello. Oh, okay. What I said. Okay. In the oh, what a beautiful woman. And I sent you greetings from Venezuela. Oh, wow, William. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A pleasure to have you, and thank you for stopping by with us. Okay. Is it your first time there? There's Nkechi in the chat. Diana Nkechi. Nkechi, how are you, darling? Thanks for stopping by. Tapita, I hope the tip kind of counted for something over there. It's not always easy, but you don't have to do it alone, darling. We are here to help and support anytime. Okay, let's see what else we've got. What did I miss? Nix's World said you have a new subscription. I think Aaron is gone now. And I'm just trying to catch up on what we are missing. Ooh, flooding. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, I have answered the seems like Dawn and Tapeta sort of are close by to each other. See what the internet can do. The internet can bring you some of the people who live close by that you would never have met. Because they're talking about a few local things. You two people talking about Becky. Is it Becky with the good hair? Let Becky be, okay? Uh-huh. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Right. Much of it is about Becky. Much of it is about annoying Becky. But anyway, that is just by the way. Oh, wow. Today has been very different because whilst we are still catching up and trying to make Grinch, I can see there's quite a lot of you in the chat who are still trying to engage with me, which is kind of nice. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know. I want to try and see if I can color my Grinch fondant because Grinch is green. He is green. But anyway, people, how is Christmas planning coming along for you? What are we doing? Is it Iram? Is it Iram Kabir? Let's see. Okay, let's see if I okay. Oh, I have to go and get new fondant. Okay, we are not doing the fondant now. We are not doing it right now because I can't. Not right now. Because I wanted to kind of like I could actually do it. This is just inner contemplation, people. That's me and my inner contemplation. Just talking to myself out loud. Friend, where have you been? Are you still recovering from your Thanksgiving shenanigans? It's Tatiana. Tatiana is back. Where have you been? Good. I know it's good. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? It's been a little while. We missed you. Look, last week was busy. Okay. We are back on another week and we are making Grinch. So yeah, it's great to have you back. How is how are you post Thanksgiving? Post Thanksgiving without the cheesecake. Now, I want to, you have so many cleaning and reorganizing project, girl. Is that not what Thanksgiving is all about? Did you go to uncle's? Did you eventually go to uncle's, or you got people to come home? Because the whole point of Thanksgiving is when you go to somebody's house, you take something over there so that you can have a good excuse to not do the cleaning. But if you invite people to your house, that's a lot. No, I don't want nobody in my house, okay? Not for Christmas. I'm going to wake up Christmas Day with my son. Oh, okay. Dawn, you both watch the same person. Okay, and they're from Oregon. And they cook, they do gardening and canning. And Dawn aspires to do what she does. What's stopping you, Dawn? I mean, you're on YouTube talking to us. So what's stopping you? Oh, Tatiana made a cheese ball. Is it a cheese ball dip for everyone? You know what? When Thanksgiving comes, maybe this is stereotyping, but the only thing I can think about is your like some sort of southern macaroni cheese. When I think about southern macaroni cheese, I'm like, I don't want it too, okay, I don't want it too cheesy, as in strongly cheesy. I want it creamy, rich, with the macaroni slightly al dente, so that when I bite into the crunch of the cheese, I can feel the smooth, rich cream mouthfeel with a little bit of the macaroni. So when I think of you people and Thanksgiving, that's what I think about. Like, who is going to make a mean macaroni cheese with some chicken wings? Am I crazy? Oh, I'm hungry now. Majud, hello there, friend. Thank you for being here. Oh, Dawn has 2 dehydrators in her Amazon cart and can't decide which one to. Indecision. Dawn, pick one. Just if it's not the cost, just after this live, just go and pick one and tell yourself, I'm treating myself to my dreams of food preservation. Okay, just go and pick the thing. And you'll be excited. Go and do it. Okay, go. But Tatiana has got, let's see. Tatiana is getting ready for the gym. Oh, honey. Your type A person will not let you have a day without the gym. Well, not forgetting that you work there. Some of us need that discipline, okay? Some of us need that discipline because sis, oh, don't just pick one, okay? Get it and have fun with it. That's all. Okay? A freeze dryer. Tatiana, psycho traits are good sometimes. If you didn't have a psycho trait, you wouldn't have achieved so much in your very young age. So good luck. Psycho traits are sometimes good, but like most things, it depends on how you utilize it. So if it will see you through the gym, come on, go, disappear in the music, and come back with a body that will have our jaws on the floor, and that will have the hubby looking like, I don't want to go to work today. Okay. And have a good time, okay? Have a good time, and come back and catch up with us when you can. I am hoping to be here at least every day. From Tuesday through Friday, we are back again. Tuesday through Friday, and then I can have Saturday, Sundays off. Yeah, and then we'll see. But at the moment, we are on the Christmas theme. So we're getting Grinch done. And I'm thinking, what will be the next gig? I'm thinking it will be the turkey, which I have done before. Like this time my skills are different and hopefully better. But I don't want to over-egg it. Okay, let's get the thing done first, and then we'll see. Okay, we'll see. But for those of you who want don't wanting a dehydrator, and go pick the thing. Okay, go pick it, have fun with it. In the meantime, my people, it's 3:10. I want to clean up. I want us to be able to get the Grinch done quickly. I don't know. I might probably be back to cover Grinch, but Grinch requires a bit of detail, and I'm not sure we can do all of that on one live. So let me just clean up. And then see whether we'll be back. Cornelius, you're a beautiful queen. Thank you. Get Ooh, okay. Okay, so I know what I want. I want some beef jerky sent across the pond to me. I know who I'm talking to. Tatiana, I want some jerky. Cornelia says, you beautiful queen. Thank you. Okay. Right. So, Dawn, you have all the support and encouragement you need to pick the dehydrator. Come on, go get the thing. Treat yourself to Christmas. Treat yourself. Come on. Treat yourself. A man will buy a car or something that they like, a toy or some sort. Just get the thing, okay? Cornelius, whilst you're here, thank you. One little favor before we go, if you will just consider liking the video, right? Because we are making Grinch and we've done much of the details, but we need to clean up and get all set up. Check the community post for some updates. It's been great catching up with you again. I'll be back, God willing, tomorrow. 1:30. I'll probably see you at 11 before 1:30. Depends. Tomorrow we have 2 sessions. I'll tell you why. Because I have a cake going out on the weekend and I want to bring you along with it. It's not Christmas themed or anything. So I want us to still do Grinch because I want us to be done quickly so that we can move on to the next Christmas thing and then it doesn't stall at all. Okay. So hopefully you will see me multiple times, either today or tomorrow, or like today. Gladys, can I make a decision? Can you make a decision? Yes, I can actually. I can. It's 3:15. Give us 20 minutes to, give us half an hour and that will take us to 1:45. Actually, no. We'll come back on 2 lives tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning and in the afternoon, so that we can get it out of the way, because we have baking to do tomorrow and then we have Grinch to finish, because I want to finish Grinch tomorrow. And then on Friday, we will get a cake covered and decorated for Saturday. And so that will be sort of our week. And then next week we can start with another Christmas theme. And I don't know if that will be when we'll make the turkey, or we'll pick another Christmas themed cake to make. Either way, I'll still be here. And then I need to go and fix my edible printer too. So I'll see you on the next one. Silias. So Silias is here. Silias, Dawn, Tatiana, Thapitha, Aaron, who is here? Let's see. Who is here? Who else is in the chat? Diana Inkechi. There's Nia. Nia is here. Sango, Larry. Look, all of you in the chat, thank you for stopping by today. If you haven't already liked the video, please do like it. And YouTube has changed slightly. If you like the video and you go back to rewatching on replay or even the long form videos, we have the hype button underneath somewhere. It's somewhere around where the subscribe is. Just hype the video. Apparently, that is the feedback YouTube requires these days to validate viewers' satisfaction and experience. So please do check all those out. In the meantime, consider subscribing if you haven't, and join the community here. We are on our way to 10K. Great to have you always, and happy baking. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.